I'm just noticing how, as we do each time we come to class, how the feet are touching the floor. Is there a balance of where the weight is distributed across the feet? You might notice, oh, there might be one spot that maybe needs a little bit more release, a little bit more attention and rooting. See if the breath needs a couple more rounds out the mouth, or inviting that in if you haven't, a cleansing breath or a pursed lip breath. Lovely. And we'll take that time to feel into body and notice which foot wants to start the foot rolling, and taking some time to rooting into your standing foot. Seeing that the pelvis is nice and strong as we allow the other leg to lift. Keep pushing the floor away, lifting the pubic bone up. Yeah, there it is. Oh, that changes everything for you. Ah. I feel like there's like a choir behind you singing at the moment. Take your time if you want to move the leg around or not. It's up to you. And we're going to roll through the foot when you're ready. I was watching a fascia video this morning. So of course, I was having a cup of tea watching a fascia video, and I think it's one that I've sent to you before. And you've probably seen it, Inka, because it would have been pre-reading and watching for any of the modules that you've taken. But it's of Gil Headley, who's, he's a really amazing fascia researcher, and also he works a lot. People donate their bodies to him, and then he works a lot at, using cadavers for research. And he talked about the fuzz in the body. Do you guys remember me talking about this before? So I think you would, right? It's called the fuzz speech. I'll share it with you with the recording today. So when you get the link to the recording, just look on it and there'll be a video, and it's like 5 minutes maximum of him talking about. So when we, in between the layers of the skin and then the superficial fascia and going into the deeper fascia, this is more superficial fascia, our body kind of grows this fuzzy texture. And it's almost like if you've peeled an orange before, and when you peel it, there's that white fuzzy stuff, right? That's what it's like. Yeah. And the more sedentary you are, the less you move, the more your body kind of grows this fuzz stuff. And it's from collagen, right? That it happens. So, okay, so you can roll through outer foot, inner foot, you can do pin and twist. So I'm not going to give you too much direction on your feet. You can switch from side to side, but just going to share a little of this education. And so when you wake up in the morning, you kind of feel, oh, I feel stiff, right? I feel fluid, right? Whatever it is. Weather like we're having can make us feel a little bit tighter, a little bit. We feel things that maybe we've injured or are a little bit sensitive in the body. That will all start to come up, and it will take us longer to kind of work away that fuzz. And the only way to work away that fuzz is to move. And so, each time you kind of move, you're like, okay, like when we were doing this morning, Ramina, we were moving a little bit. And each time you did something, you got better and cleaner and smoother. So as we're rolling out the foot, you might feel as you pause in between each side, just feel how one side feels compared to the other side. And you'll notice the side that we haven't foot rolled. If you have foot rolled both sides, you might not notice a significant difference. But just even reaching the arm up and checking in, because the fascia should slide and glide. So it creates this fluid. It's called the hyaluronic acid that allows your fascia to slide. And when we move, the fascia creates more of this fluid quality to help with a little bit of slide and glide. So throughout the day, we go, okay, I'm feeling better, right? I'm not as stiff. I move around. I'm feeling good. And it was interesting in the video he talked about, and then he shows some parts of the body, and there's a really good visual of the fuzz in the video. So if you don't like looking at cadavers, then maybe it's not a video for you to look at, okay? But if you do, click on it, okay? And yeah, and it's actually taken of the thigh, right? So it's just looking at around the thigh, which might be interesting, Shona, to look at, right? Because we were talking about the thigh and the fuzz. But what happens when we get injured, right? And you wake up and you're like, oh, I want to protect it, right? I'm injured and I'm feeling like I don't want to move that area a little bit more. So we wake up and we have kind of fuzz that the body's produced, but because we're not moving that area of the body, we become tighter. And then we go the next day and we protect it again and we don't move it once again. And then more fuzz builds up, right? And so if we think of areas that maybe we don't move as much in the body, how things can build up in fuzz. And so it's really interesting how it can get matted, and that's when it becomes matted and there's a buildup of collagen, and we have too much collagen in the body. And so, you know, the important part with fascia, two actually really important things: drink lots of water, right? Because staying hydrated is one thing. So one thing I'm working on a lot more is to intake more water. The other thing is to move mindfully, right? So when you move mindfully, yeah, so move around. So we do that all the time, right? But to keep moving, and sometimes doing, if you can, a little bit of springy motions, right? Which we don't normally do that much. Because sometimes when we're walking, we move a lot, but then we're hitting really heavy pavement, right? So it's good when we walk, if we can walk on ground that's a little bit softer, that gives us a rebound. But what you can do is just standing and using the heels a little bit to lift up and down, right? Yeah. And then just let your body kind of relax and be a little bit springy. Yeah. He was skipping rope all the time, right? And so another one too is those little rebounder trampolines, right? That a lot of people get on and kind of jump on. So that's another thing, but you can just do little springing. And when you do this, you're also increasing bone density because you're stressing the bones in your heels, right? So you're building bone density up through the body. So good thing, just a little bit of kind of awareness. That's what I learned this morning. It's like a relearning again. Mm-hmm. Right? I know. Yeah. I know the very first thing I've been trying to do when I get up is just like drink a whole bunch of water to see, oh, how's that feeling for me now? You know, hydrate. I like to have a cup of tea, but I try to drink water first. But yeah, it's an interesting one to think about how much fluid we're intaking. If the fascia is, you know, 70–80% fluid, how hydrated are we staying? Um, I know when I go out hiking or walking or I do something like that, when I come home, I like to foot roll. Do any of you do that when you come back? That might be a really good practice for you, Shona, right? At the end of doing something vigorous like what you're doing, right? You you can even sit, right? And foot roll, lie down like you did, right? And foot roll. Yeah, that was really nice, wasn't it? Okay, so I've done both feet. If you haven't, take some time, check in. Do you want to stand with your toes over the dowel, or do you want to just stand on the floor on your mat? And we'll go into a little forward fold. Okay, so I'm just going to turn sideways in this. So you're going to inhale, exhale, push the floor away. Feel like you create some length all the way up through the body, through the spine. And as you exhale again, the weight shifts back on the heels, which will allow the pelvis to start to move backward. And then as you bend the knees a little bit, you'll feel the sit bones start to rise up towards the ceiling. And some of you might just come down partway and just find this flat back. Release the arms. Let them sway in the air. So just doing a little bit of range of motion. You can feel your toes come in to the awareness of supporting you. Notice you have just as much weight on your big toe as you do on your pinky toe. Inner heel to outer heel. And some of you, if your blood pressure feels okay, you'll go down a little bit farther. Let the spine unfurl. And then one thing you can do in your forward fold is you can just hang here. You can hold the right hand holding left elbow, left hand holding right elbow. You can move the spine a little bit, a little undulation of the spine just to work the fascia. You can even reach over to one side. So I've got my left hand on top of my left foot. If you don't touch the foot, you can hold your shin, and then you can reach through your right arm towards the left and just feel, oh, how does this undulation of the body. So every time we undulate and we move the body in different ways, it helps to hydrate the fascia and release that fuzz. You take time to be there as long as you want. You rise up when you're ready. Good. See if after you come out, if you want to do a little axial rotation, no rush. See if you can get a little bit of bounce into it. Knees bend, and then you kind of push off the feet as you come to each side. Mm-hmm. Good. Slowly slow that down when you're ready. Okay, so let's go into the top of the foot again. Last week we did this one too. And we brought in a little hip stabilizer. So you can choose one of two blocks. You might even have your chip foam block. You might have the 4-inch block. And the reason why I stand on a little bit of height, because it just allows the leg that's about to go swinging just to be levitated off the floor a little bit. It also challenges your foot to stay a little bit more rooted. So you're going to find I've moved a little bit closer to the wall. You can lean an arm, a hand into the wall so you're not dropping into the wall. And then the other leg is going to come up and we're going to swing. So you want a straight leg. So this is going to bring in flexion and extension. So your abductors, the glutes and the tensor fascia latae are getting involved here. And then just to bring a little bit more stabilization, we're going to pause. We're just going to go just out to the side and back. So push the wall away. Try not to lean into the wall, out to the side and back. Good. You can feel, is the toes angling out? Can you get the feet, the toes staying parallel? Yeah, keep them facing forward. There you go, Jody. Yeah, so notice, how high is it to go that feels good for you? So maybe less is more. Yeah, come out, do a little movement of circling through the hips. And then we're going to try the other side. Pause, standing, allowing the leg to swing. We're going to do top of the foot release in another way. today. So we're just going to do these two. So once we've swung and we can feel our abductors a little bit more, you're going to go out to the side. Some of us need to lift our pubic bone up. Yeah. Yes, good. Hey, Shona, these two moves have your name on them. Yeah? Yes. When you're doing them, try not to lose your big toe of your standing foot leg. Yeah. And maybe less high with the leg. Yeah, there it is. See how more controlled you are? Yes. And that standing leg is really working for you. Good. So we're just bringing a little bit of stability into the body before we come down to the floor. So once you've done the swinging of the leg out to the side, just check in with your mat to find, do I need to move a few things around? Good. We're going to come up to the top of the mat. We're going to flow down. So we're just going to take an exhale, just arrive here, feel your feet, bring your hands up, palms touching. Check in if the sit bones need to widen, if the pubic bone needs to lift, the lower belly drawing in and up. Even the weight. Exhale, release the arms down. Push the floor away with your feet. Feel the arms rise up. Exhale, weight shifts back on the heels as the pelvis reaches back and then up towards the ceiling with the sit bones. And then you're going to shift your weight back so you feel your toes. Pause here for a couple breaths. And then we're going to bend the knees and we're going to step back. One foot, the other foot, feet, hands nice and wide into downward dog. Okay, so here's where we're going to bring in the top of the feet, something a little bit different in our play. So it's good to switch things up. So I've got my right foot on the floor. I'm going to pick up that left foot and just bring the top of the left foot onto the mat. Press it gently into the floor. Feel the release up through the shin, the foot, and then switch and do the other side. So you can have the top of the foot around the heel lined up or the inner arch. Yeah. Come down when you're ready. Good, yes. There we go. All right, you can walk it out. It's a little bit different than doing it standing. We're loading it on the floor. So once you come down, you might find child's pose. You might widen the knees. Notice how the knees feel. And that will judge how far the pelvis will sink back. You might just stay here a little bit more upright. So I've got a little sway initiating from side to side through the pelvis, which is allowing my torso to move. Some of you might walk the arms over to one side, do a little bit more lateral stretch. You can undulate here. We're just trying to work into our fuzz this morning. Seeing if you can press a little bit through the top of the foot, the top of the ankle, the shin into the floor. And you'll go to each side. Good. Yes. Okay, we're going to go on to hands and knees. If it's too much to be on hands and knees, some of you have supported the knees. You can always go seated for this one. We have been bringing in the spinal wave, which is part of the series of moving through the spine and undulating through the spine. We're going to do it in this hands and knee position. So hands under shoulder or elbows under shoulder, knees under hips. So starting from the pelvis, as the pelvis reaches down, pubic bone can lift up, back gently has a release through the spine, evenly through the lower back, the middle back, upper back, neck and head release down. And then you start from the pelvis, allow the sit bones to lift, the belly to release. towards the floor, a little extension through the front of the spine, widen the collarbones, draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Okay, little gaze forward. So start each movement from the pelvis, allowing you to go into a very gentle flexion. So you're feeling each part, the pelvis, and then each vertebra through the lower back. You have 5 of them. The thoracic spine, you have 12. The cervical spine, you have 7. That's your neck. And then you have your head. Just let the head be the last place. Initiate the movement from the pelvis. So you can circle here. Some of you, which we have not brought in, you might even feel that you want to go into thread the needle. So you might feel, I'll do my arm closest to camera. So for me, it's my left. You might inhale the arm up and then exhale and thread it through. So this is an option here. You can pause and just hold it. You can do that reaching up a couple times. Inhale, exhale. A little more of a deeper axial rotation. I'm just releasing the spine. We're going to do a little bit more release through the spine today. Good, yeah, inhale, reach it up, exhale through, do the other side once you've completed. Yeah, good. It's nice to move the spine in ways that maybe we don't do it as often. Yeah, good. You might feel, I feel a little bit of congestion through one of my shoulders. Yeah, good. Once you've done that, we're going to move to the floor. So finding, is there a little bit of support that you want? So for me, my inclination is to always grab a ball, but you can have a 4-inch block. You might put it in between the thighs, closer to the pelvic floor. A little bit in the inner thigh. Some of you I know like to go towards the knees a little bit more. So in this one, we find the lifting up through the spine to start. And then we want to tilt the pelvis posteriorly. So as we tilt posteriorly, we lift the pubic bone up. You're going to feel your lower belly draw in. Okay, chin releases down, and then just let your hands, so that you're not using them, let them slide down your legs. Keep lifting your pubic bone up. Yeah, yeah, good. Come out as you roll a little bit from left to right. Draw the legs in. Just want to take out the slow-mo ball for a moment. We're going to do a little bit of mortar and pestle. And so sometimes when you draw the legs towards you, I like to put a little bit of height underneath the pelvis. It brings the hips up towards you for this one especially. So you can just pop your chip bone block if you choose. Under the pelvis, draw it towards you. As you lift the legs up, sorry, draw it, meaning legs, knees bent, draw them towards you. Hands can be either behind the knees, which creates a little bit of space behind the knees and opens them up. And you're going to exhale and just bring the legs, thighs towards the belly. Belly deflates. Then you're going to separate the legs, circle them out and around, away from the torso. Then the inner thighs, knees are going to come back towards one another. Okay, exhale as you bring the thighs towards the belly, belly deflates. Inhale as you separate the legs, circle them out and around, away from the body, and then back together. We're just warming up the body a little bit more here. Having the block underneath the pelvis is just creating a little bit more ease for us receiving the legs towards us. So we do this quite a bit in the series. Good. Couple more rounds in this direction. And then when the legs come towards the belly and you exhale, then you're going to keep the legs together and you're going to inhale as the legs move away from the torso. Then as you separate the legs, you're going to exhale and draw the legs, thighs back towards the belly as you deflate. The inner thighs are going to come towards one another. You're going to inhale the legs away, separate them, exhale, draw the legs towards you. See if you can keep that lift of the lower belly. For some of you, that's lifting the pubic bone up, feeling the lower belly draw in. Good. And then take the arms and the legs, release them. Just shake the arms and the legs in the air. So we're just doing a little bouncing now, just trying to get a little movement through the shins. And since we're here, we're going to go right into tapping for a moment. So we're going to grab our dowels or our hands. We've got the height underneath the pelvis. So we're going to just go and tap through the shins, through the calves. Now we've been also bringing in that tool, which is really helpful when we have a lot of tightness or holding or bunching or fuzz, is taking hold of the dowel, bending the knee quite a lot, and putting the dowel at just above your ankle. And then you're going to put a little bit of pressure there. And then as you put pressure, so this is great skin on skin if you can. And as you put a little bit of pressure, you're going to drag the dowel up the shin towards coming to below the knee. And you can do that a couple times. And this is going to help to release the binding of that fuzz. So one thing you'll watch when you see the video is you'll see Gil Headley draw his thumb across the fuzz. And if it's fuzz that has been there and just collected overnight, it easily dissolves. But if it's something that is continuous and we keep building, or maybe we have a little bit of a stress fracture when we're walking or we're loading something in a different way and we're creating a little bit of strain through the body, then we might have a little bit more matting or collagen or fuzz through different areas, especially if we've injured ourselves. Okay, so you can draw and drag that dowel in any place along the calves, from the ankle, putting pressure up to behind the knee. Good. How's that one feel, Shona? Up the leg. Yeah, a little bit sensitive, right? But good. Yeah. So go both legs, tap, drag. So the dragging motion is called a combing of the fascia. It's really helpful for releasing that fuzz, that collagen buildup, but also to help any edema that we have, so that excess fluid that the lymphatic system hasn't been able to gather up and return into the cardiovascular system. You're just helping right now that flush of the body. And because we've got our legs in the air inverted, it's really great for tired legs, restless legs, varicose veins, edema. So all of this legs in the air is really helpful for flushing the legs. Whenever you're ready to go into tapping the top of the thighs, the feet can come on the floor. You might even feel that you need to release that outer hip. And so we do bring in figure 4 if that comes in. So one leg drawing towards you, externally rotating. You can put the ankle on the opposite thigh. And then you can even bring your arm through and the dowel, and you can hold the back of the leg with your dowel if you choose. You can straighten and release. You can take the dowel on the back of the thigh and just above the back of the knee, then slowly comb down the hamstring towards your pelvis. And so you might find some spots where there's a little bit more bunching. So here you're just going to kind of smooth it over your clothing. Just try to notice if the clothing is bunching up, just to try to smooth it out a little bit. Good. Nice. So take your time to complete that whenever you're done each side. And just pause for a moment and just feel the legs. So just stay there. Some of us need to stay on the legs a little bit longer and linger. So you just linger in the legs. Those of you that are ready to move on and want to go into the abdomen, you can let your dowel go. You can put your hands on the belly, give a gentle rubbing, shaking, tapping. Can tap through the rib cage, left side with your right hand and right side of the rib cage with the left hand. Can come up through the sternum. Go into the B breath if you choose, the Brahmari breath, that humming breath as you exhale at the mouth. So one of the things with research of the B breath is that in research, they've noticed that it helps to release fascial stiffness doing the B breath. The vibration is connecting into our mechanoreceptors that have a reception of movement and pressure and vibration. Nice. Allowing us to feel more proprioceptively aware, so grounded in space. Nice. Going through the whole body here. You'll notice if you want to tap through the arms at all, if you want to stay on your side and just roll over and tap the lower back. Some of you might sit up. So to sit up, excuse me, we can draw the legs towards the chest. We can use that momentum of rolling and allowing the feet to anchor us down to come up to a seated position. I think we can tap through the lower back. Yeah. The shoulder blades. Even done some combing through the lower back. We're always trying to put a little bit more pressure in moving the lymph and the fascia up towards the heart. Especially the QL muscle is a vertical muscle. So when we comb it, we comb with the fibers. Top of the shoulders. So sometimes releasing shoulders helps to soften down through the body. So we might feel, oh, as I release the shoulders, you can feel more relaxed. You might even tap the front of the chest. Good. Once you feel ready, some of you are already on the floor. You can lie back down. You can check in if you want to reach the arms up at all. Do a little bit of palming. Some of you might massage the skull or massage the face. You choose how you want to end. If you're palming, allow the heel of the hand to just rest on the cheekbones, covering the eyes, but the eyes are just floating underneath the palm of the hand, so there's no pressure on them. Just all around. I'm just going to take some time to pause here, just find the breath. Feel if the exhalation wants to be out the mouth, it wants to be out the nose. Notice how the body's expanding as you receive the inhale, and there's a softening on the exhale. You might even feel a little bit more vibration through the body, a tingling, an awaked quality, or proprioceptively, you might feel a little bit more aware of being able to notice the heaviness of the body on the floor. Good. When the hands want to release, just let them come off the eyes. The eyes might stay closed or open. You choose. Okay, so we're going to go into canoe pose, which we're going to take the chip foam block and place it underneath the back of the pelvis. And now for this first one, some of you might even use a block or an inflated ball in between the inner thighs. Exhale, rooting the pelvis into the floor. Let the legs come up. Some of you are going to lift the pubic bone. Some of you might use that SH sound. Unfurl the legs. And I want you to be a little bit more aware of your feet up in the air. So sometimes we supinate the feet out. So when we look at the top of our feet are curved out. And I want you to see if you can pull the pinkies around so that as if your feet were standing on the ceiling, you'd have a flat foot looking at you when you look up at your feet, and then bend the knees a little bit more. So keep trying to bring that pinky side of the foot a little bit more around. Arms can come up. We're just going to stay fluid today as the palms face one another. And then we're going to feel the arms and the legs towards one another. Inhale, exhale as the arms and legs move away, lifting the pubic bone. And just see if you can find this fluid motion here, seeing the integrity of the body and stay very connected. Might even wiggle the toes and the fingers from time to time. Yeah, good. When the arms and the legs move away from one another, see that you don't overarch your back and kind of pop your ribs up to the ceiling. So I want you to try to keep those back of the ribs, especially the lower back ribs below the shoulder blades, pressing or reaching towards the floor. And you can keep that pubic bone, that lower belly, lifting in and up. 2 more rounds. Good, and then release here, remove the ball or the block in between the thighs. So last week, as we shake things out, we went into scissors. We're not going to do the whole sequence on the block, but I do want to do scissors pose again, just to get into the fascia of the whole body, also to connect right brain and left brain. So you're going to move same arm, same leg. So as you keep the pubic bone lifted, you're going to bring right arm, right leg towards the torso. Left arm, left leg is releasing towards the floor. And then you're switching. Left arm, left leg is coming up, right arm, right leg is releasing down, switching, finding that pubic bone is lifting. Some of you know that SH breath might be coming in to feel the rib cage gather. Some of you can turn your head to look at that arm that's coming up. Remember, I teach multi-level, so if I give a cue and your body's like, wow, it's too much, can't think of that, you just let it go. Some of you will hear things at different times and be able to connect to it. Okay, we're just going to do a couple more rounds if you can. Good. Then we're going to pause. We're going to go right into nutcracker. So as the elbows and the knees bend a little bit, we're going to inhale. As we exhale, we're going to open arms and legs out to the side. Now take a moment just to pause here. Reach up through your inner heels, outer heels, toes, and heel. A little bit out through your fingers as you press into the floor through your shoulder blades and your pelvis. Lift your pubic bone. Now imagine you're holding a really big ball and you're going to squeeze the air out of it with your arms and your legs as they come together. Exhale there. Good. Inhale, open up the arms and the legs. As you exhale, squeeze that ball, let the belly draw in, the ribs gather. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze that ball, deflate. Yes. One last time. Exhale. Good. Shake it out. Feet come down. Lift the pelvis off the block, put it off to the side. Some of you might put it behind your head. Some of you might just put it off to the side. Just take a moment just to feel your body. You might rest. You might have a few inspirational movements. Some of us like to wiper the legs just a little bit. Okay, so we did a lot of linear movement, a little bit of lateral release, and now we're going to go into our axial rotation with the smiley face. So once again, taking a ball or a block in between the thigh, if that helps you. Some of you I know also like to, as you exhale, draw the thighs towards your chest, put a block in between the feet, and you're holding and squeezing that. So arms can be down on the floor if you just want to work on legs today. Or you can bring your arms up and imagine you're holding that big ball. So we've been talking about as the arms move from side to side, try to keep the spaciousness in the arms and the shoulder blades stay on the floor. Okay, so you're going to inhale, exhale, squeeze the ball, bring the legs over to one side, lift the thighs towards you with the core. So the inhale, arms go to the opposite side of the legs, going from left to right. There you go. Yeah. You okay, Shona? Changing the hair? Yeah, good. Remember, if this is a little bit challenging, you can always slip that chip foam block underneath the pelvis again. Yeah, good. Squeezing up. Nice. If you want to, you can go into extending the shins and the feet, taking the ball in space. Good. Just going to come up to watch. Keep squeezing that ball, lifting that pubic bone up. There you go. Good. Yeah. Feel the legs are only coming up from the core, lifting the legs towards you. Yeah, nice control there, Inka. That's good. Yeah. Good. Good. Just watching you online. Good, Christine. I can see you moving. I can see parts of you. Yay, that's great. Good, Shona. Make sure you're squeezing that block a little bit more. Good. Okay, when you're ready, just pause. Come down to the floor. Just take a moment. Good. Yeah. How we doing? Everyone feeling a little bit more aware of the body? Okay. So we're going to use this awareness that we've brought in to do a little work over a bolster or an inflated slow-mo ball. So I'm just off my mat for a moment. I'm just going to bring Joni a few tools just in case you want to use them. So bolster, if you're not wanting a big opening, some of you in the studio might use a smaller bolster. If you're wanting a bigger opening, you might use the big bolster. You could also use the inflated slow-mo ball. So I know some of you in the studio have the inflated slow-mo ball. And so I'm going to show in a couple ways because I know a few of us at home have a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you have a pillow. And you're going to put that behind your back. So right around the shoulder blade. So you're a little bit levitated here. Okay, you can put something in between the thighs to squeeze. So I've got the slow-mo ball right around my shoulder blades here. And you're interlacing the hands behind the head. So those of you that are using the bolster, you're allowing yourself to lie back on the bolster. So you can go shoulder blades. If that's too much of an opening, slide down a little bit so the ball or the bolster is above, kind of in the top part of the shoulder blades, and your head is supported. Just checking that everyone's got what we're doing. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So if you go lower with the ball or the bolster, it's gonna do more of an opening. The higher up you put the ball or the bolster on the upper spine, the less of an opening you're gonna go for. Interlace the hands behind the head, soft hands, widen shoulder blades, gather the elbows towards your skull a little bit. Good. Now you're gonna press the feet into the floor. Some of you that have the chip block or a block in between the thighs, you're going to squeeze that. You're going to lift your pubic bone and you're going to lean back into the ball or the bolster and gently just curl up through the spine. So the spine is only curling up from you lifting through your inner core. Collarbone is broad. And then you're going to roll back and you're going to roll right down into the bolster or over the ball. So I'm just going to go up a little bit just to show you. So I'm rolling over the bolster of the ball. So if you want less of an opening, you want to have the bolster of the ball higher up the spine. If you want more of an opening, you're going to put it down a little bit lower. And then you're going to root your feet, squeeze the ball, lift your pubic bone, gently roll up, lengthen up through the spine. So you're not tugging on the head in any way. You've got soft hands. Okay, you're going to relax the head at the top. Feel like you have a string on your collarbone. Inhale, exhale, rolling back and over. Each time you're ready to come up, you're going to press the feet. Squeeze the inner thighs. There you go, Amina. Lift that pubic bone. Gently roll up. So you're not tugging the head at all. Is that making sense? Yep. Good. Some of you might just hang back in the opening of the chest. If you're going over into a deeper back bend, you can put a little block behind the head so that when you come down, then you can release the hands and you can just be here for a moment and open. You might do a little movement through the arms. You might just hold opposite hand to opposite elbow and maybe just move the arms up and down to release through the side body and the armpits. Some of you might even go into chopping wood, which the pads of the fingers and the thumbs are touching, and you chop wood up and over. Okay, so I'm just coming out just to check in with how you're feeling. Oh, good. Nice. Keep squeezing that ball, Marina. Nice, good. You decide how long you want to linger here for. Good, Nikki, that looks really nice. It's a good opening for you over the bolster. Yeah, good. Good, Christine. Inka, have you done this one before with me? I don't think you have done this one, have you? It's a roll-up variation. right? And I'm kind of, and I'm using some more tools and props to explore roll-ups, right? Yeah. You've got to use the core a lot, right? So that you're not pulling on the head or reaching, right? Yeah. Yeah. So when you're ready, you're not going to sit up to take your support out. You're going to roll to the side to take your support out. So no rush. Right? And then you're just going to pause on the floor just to feel your body. So because we curl through the front of the body quite often, looking at our phones or doing work, or if we're crafting or different things like that, we want to make sure that the front of the heart and the fascia stay open and spacious. Hey, doing, is he okay? That bring up a little bit for you? Are you okay? Did it bring something up? No, thought I thought something. Okay. Once you've got all your props out of the way, roll onto your back again. Okay, we're just going to be flat on our back. You can have a chip foam block if you choose behind the head. We're just going to do owl wings 1 and 2, just to release if anything needs to let go of after doing that heart opening. So some of us might have a ball or orange block in between the thighs, feet are hip width apart, comfortable distance from the hips. Take an exhale out the mouth, just feel heavy here. Do that a couple more times. Just really allow that invitation of sinking into the floor. Arms are going to reach up, palms are going to face towards the legs as the index and the thumb on each hand touch. This is Gyan Mudra. This is our mudra of wisdom and clear seeing. So as you wiggle your middle ring and pinky finger, you're going to let the elbows bend a tiny bit. Now I want you to try to feel a heaviness on both shoulder blades, both sides of the hip. As you open the arms out to the side, reach through the middle ring and pinky finger, and don't worry about touching the floor, and then root the shoulder blades into the floor as you initiate the arms back towards one another, opening up. Root the shoulder blades into the floor, initiating the arms back up so the index and thumbs are coming towards one another. Now you can choose if you just want to keep the head in center, maybe the eyes closed. Some of you may keep the eyes gently open, softened, and turn the head to one side as the arms open. And then as the arms come back together, the eyes scan across the ceiling, and as the arms open again, the head turns to the other side. So when we do this scanning motion with the eyes scanning in this arc across the ceiling, a couple things are happening here. There's this awareness of connection of the eyes into the nervous system. It's called neuroception. So the neurons are recepting the scanning quality in the body. This is happening all the time. Checking in, our nervous system is checking in. Do I feel safe? And as we do this, it helps to calm the amygdala, our fear response. And so we feel a little bit more at ease. But also the eyes are connected to the longest nerve in our body called the vagus nerve. It's a cranial nerve. It's our 10th nerve. Some of you have come to the Wednesday 10:30 class, and I focus in this one on the vagus nerve. It helps with so many things, with sleep and calmness and digestion and cognitive awareness. And so when you're ready and you've done the same amount on the other side, pause, bring your head into center, wiggle your fingers, let your arms move in space. Then turn your palms towards one another and then turn the palms to face the wall behind you so that the pad of the thumb can now choose to touch the pad of the middle finger. This is going to nourish up your shoulders to your neck and your ears. It also lifts your energy. So if you're feeling a little bit lightheaded, then you might move to touching your thumb to your ring finger, which is connected more to the earth and grounding. Molds into our shoulder blades myofascially. Okay. Heavy elbows, open the arms, out to the side. You can choose once again, each time your arms go out to the side, root your shoulder blades into the floor to bring the arms back up. Head can turn from side to side again. And the one other benefit of the eyes scanning the environment and turning the head from side to side is the eyes connect to the muscles along the occipital ridge. So that's that ridge at the very base of your skull. And it helps to relax these muscles. Some of us get really tight in the cervical spine of the neck. And each time we're releasing our neck muscles, then this is where the vagus nerve passes out through the base of the skull, behind the ears. And it travels down each side of your neck. And then it infiltrates down into your lungs and your heart. It goes into your ears and your face, and all the way into your digestive system. So doing this movement, we start to move into feeling more relaxed in the body. Okay, when you're ready, just pause and just let the arms float out to the side. Move them a little bit away from your body, palms up. Take a few breaths in and out. Just feel the heaviness, little check-in here. You might notice maybe something have shifted in the nervous system. Sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't go back to sleep, I'll use the eye trick to explore, to connect into my vagus nerve. So we always explore this nerve in the Wednesday class. Right, so for the last couple moves we're going to do to release, so I want to give you a couple options here. So some of you might feel that you want to go into legs up the wall and maybe take a little bit more time to release and legs up the wall. Some of you may feel that you want to just roll to the side and just lie on your side body a little bit more. And you can put your bolster under your head. Feel the feet connect and just reach one arm up, fingers point towards the ceiling. So we haven't done this one in a little bit. You can leave the feet on the floor, or you can lift the shins and the feet, which are going to ask your abductors to engage a little bit more to be here. So I have my bottom arm, I like to extend it, and the top arm, the fingers pointing towards the ceiling. And then you're going to lift your pubic bone up just to feel your body is quite engaged, but your arm and your fingers are quite soft in the air. And if you lift your shins and your feet off the floor while pushing your toes together and separating your heels, you're going to feel the outer hip, the abductor, the glutes, and the tensor fasciae latae muscle engage a little bit more to hold you here. And then you're going to circle your arm in the air. So this is mortar and pestle too. So we're just doing a little bit of work on engaging the side core and circling the arms. Some of us who work a lot with the arms, typing, or we have a job that we do a lot of work in the arms, you might really notice a nourishing motion coming in. We go the other direction. Just feeling your range of motion here. It's one thing that can happen as we age, and it's kind of unknown why it happens, but frozen shoulders. So the articular capsule of the shoulder, the fascia, the connective tissue, starts to adhere to the shoulder joint. Interesting enough, research, it happens more to women than men, and there's some findings that it correlates to as we pass through menopause and the drop in our estrogen and progesterone. Kind of an interesting one. Okay, so you can pause, release, notice how that feels. And then you can roll to your other side. So I'm going to flip all the way around, but you can just roll away from me. I like to have either a pillow or a bolster underneath. Line the legs up. So the legs don't have to be all the way up into a right angle, but you can have them on a slight 45, but just line the knees up, line the sides of the toes up. They separate the heels, and then see if you can lift the shins and the feet off the floor as the left arm comes up. It's really nice to have a bolster here under the head because it brings freedom to the shoulder. I like to extend my arm out in line with my shoulder because it feels really nice on my shoulder. And then you're going to just start to circle. Some of you might hug your arm around the bolster. I just wanted to bring in this one that we haven't done in a while. I know, Christina, this used to be one that you used to always love. You just go in one direction as many times as you want. Find a range of motion where you can really roll around in that very shallow socket of the shoulder. Go both directions. Wow. See if you can move right from the whole arm. So not from the elbow only, but feel the whole arm moving, rolling around, because that's when you're getting into the articular capsule. And then you just pause. Legs can come down, arm can come down, just resting. Oh. So I've been weaving in the pauses of the breath throughout the practice today, just to see as we check in how the nervous system has been changing. So when we go from kind of heightening the nervous system and then going back to a sense of real well-being, we're creating resilience in the nervous system. We're noticing how to go from a heightened state, more of maybe a hyper arousal in the sympathetic, down to a state of well-being. Okay, so some of you might just stay on the floor, okay, and rest here. We have been going into, for the leg release, some of us have been going into sliding the bolster under the pelvis and going into a supported shoulder stance here where we draw the legs up, extend the legs in the air and the arms out to the side. Some of us have been going up to having the legs up the wall. Some of us are just resting on the floor. Couple options here. So we have about 5 minutes left. I always like to give you a choice on how you'd like to end. You might even come up and go into a cat-cow or a child's pose again. I'm going to go through the wave. So if you do want to go into the wave at all, you can come up onto hands and knees with me. I know some of you, your knees are not feeling that it wants to go up into it. But if you do, you can extend the arms in a soft, kind of modified child's pose, rooting through the tops of the feet. And now you're just going to unfurl the spine. So you're going to allow the pubic bone to lift, the sit bones to reach back, and you're going to unfurl into a half plank. And then you're going to reach back through the sit bones, keep the pubic bone lifted. And come back into that modified child's pose. You're just going to go back and forth for those of you that want to go into it with me. And some of you might evolve all the way into that upward flow of an upward cobra, moving back through the pelvis. Okay, so a couple options here to end your practice with. Good. Once you come into that place of stillness, or wherever you are, you're just going to pause here and make sure you take a couple conscious breaths, maybe out the mouth, out the nose, a sigh, a pursed lip breath. Come in a couple more times just to consciously root down and that surrender. Some of us have stayed on our side body. You choose whatever pose nourishes you to rest in. So I want to read this piece, who's by author Patricia Mary Sparrow. And it was written in a fascia anatomy book, and a little bit of writing about observing the body and working with the fascia and the breath. I'll share it with you as well. Freeing the fascia from within. True yoga is not about doing a posture as dictated by the outside robotic influences, but more an observation from within at what happens in the body along the journey. No matter how still we think we are, there's always a tiny movement somewhere inside, visible only to us. I think it is called life. We should become quiet enough in the thinking brain to observe movement that is happening in the physical body. Relaxing, truly relaxing, is becoming quiet. Watching the pattern of the breathing and keeping your attention there until the pattern of the breathing takes over and governs the movement within. This is where the stillness in yoga comes from, not from doing movement, but observing the movement that happens with the breath. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, we don't have time to observe this deep movement. We're doing, not being. It's like rappelling down or abseiling down the thread of the breath. Just going to pause and just continue to feel the breath. And as you continue to feel your breath, you might notice at times As you move throughout your day, maybe there's a pause where you check in to your body. You might notice how you're standing, connecting to the earth, either through feet or if you're sitting through the pelvis. And how is the breath breathing through you? How is the body moving and responding within and around your body to the breath? And as your fingers might start to wiggle and the toes might start to move, being aware of this movement as you explore a few more rounds of stretching, lengthening, releasing any props that no longer serve you to come out. You might roll over to the side and even just pause on the side body for a breath or two before you sit up. And the legs might extend, they might be crossed. You choose what works for you. Also going to bring in the option, maybe you want to come into the feet and the soles of the feet touching. Maybe it's a butterfly with the feet closer or the feet a little bit farther away in what we would call a tortoise or krimasana. As you exhale, palms facing forward, out your mouth. Keep pressing down through the pelvis and the sit bones as you float your arms up, gathering energy up as the palms touch at whatever height the arms want to go. Feeling this come down into the body as you receive that energy. And then again, at your timing, rooting down, reaching up. Palms touching, receiving this energy through the head, the heart, the belly. And then one last time, reaching up and just pausing the hands at the heart. And just feel your breath, whether the eyes are opened or softly closed still. Just notice your body, notice your breath. Feel that connection to mind and emotion. If your eyes were closed, just open them, lift your gaze. Thank you for taking the time out of your day for yourself and also joining together in practice. Hopefully your buzz has released a little bit.